morning, Arkansas. How we doing today? Man, it's turned out to be a really nice day, isn't it? Wow, huh? Yeah, I'll take this all day. Hopefully, our summer won't be too broiling. But anyway, I figure I guess I'll get right into it again. You know, something I think that I bring to the table is I've been working ever since I was 15. Just a hair under 60 now. I've done a lot of things before I realized what I wanted to do. You know, I did a few years in the Navy. You know, I used to build office furniture systems. I've picked up trash, cleaned toilets. I've worked in aviation, which is where I retired from. Nearly 30 years of that. So yeah, I guess I've built toilets in those. Very happily, very proud to be a union. I think we need to strengthen our unions, not weaken them, which we've been doing. And Arkansas being a right-to-work state that it is, we need to fix that. I think that's a huge problem. This is clearly not right to work. It's a right for your employer to say piss off for any reason they want. You know, and that even applies to car dealerships. A few years ago, I purchased a brand new 2014 Subaru Outback, my very first factory ordered car. And and yes, I was an aircraft mechanic then, doing very well. I made good money until I got hurt. But anyway, back to my story. And you know, so I asked the usual questions, and I got into a synthetic oil conversation, and you know, we were good. Everything was all good. No surprises. Okay, so it comes to my first oil change. You know, and I go to pay for it, and which is fine. That wasn't the problem. The issue was when it was due. It was due in like 3,500 miles instead of 10,000. So I asked the question. Well, come to find out, it just had, you know, regular oil in it. Well, it's not what I wanted. So I went to the guy, the sales manager, and he asked me why I had a hard-on, literally, for that type of oil. And I briefly explained to him my knowledge of that, which he didn't like. And he said he was going to do this for me one time and he wouldn't do it for me again. Well, the service guy looked at me and we looked at each other, and we just turned around and went back to the service center. As I was walking away, he yelled at me across the showroom floor saying, "Don't you walk away from me." And that was a really strange situation. So anyway, so I get an email from Subaru Corporate telling me that I'm banned from that dealership. Okay, so the next place I had to go get oil changes from was Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, 115 miles away. Yeah. So they have the right to do that too. And that's horseshit. Many of the laws in the books right now are designed for someone else's benefit, not yours or mine. You know, it's a way for everyone else to enrich themselves at our expense. And this practice has to stop. You guys feel it. I know in the rural parts of this state, you feel it. I've driven around this state many times, you know, and you know, it's not difficult to see poverty when you've lived in it. I've been homeless. You know, I was homeless for 3 years. You know, it sucks. I worked hard to get where I got. And then I got hurt, now I'm at half pay. Especially when I wasn't expecting it. That really sucks. So, those are some of the things I want to fix. I want to make it better for workers. Because we got to get rid of the right to work bullshit that doesn't help anyone. You know, and we have to have better jobs here. You know, we need to start with our schools and maybe teach a few things, maybe something vocational or trades. You know, the high school I grew up in, we had that. I took full advantage of it. You know, welders and auto mechanics, carpenters, cooks. You know, at least teaching people the basic skills of even living. You know, I wonder how many people have no idea how to check their oil or whatever. And it really helps people when they're on their own to have a better understanding. They don't get ripped off when they buy a car because they know stuff. You know, people don't try to sell them muffler bearings, you know. So that's a little bit about what I want to do. Now that it's funny, I've taken a bunch of classes. Hey, I've never done this before. I got to teach myself, right? I have several more coming. And now I know a lot more what I need to do to help not only myself, but help us all. All right? Because we got to do it. And you too. You guys listen, step up. If there's, you know, something, superintendent or whatever else coming up in your district or something that you're just, you know, you can't deal with it anymore, you're tired of it, step up and do it yourself. You know, we need to get honesty back in here too. You know, and I don't know about you, but I like to look at somebody in the eye. You know, I can tell when someone's full of shit or not. You know, politicians are always full of shit, so whatever. But we can do this together. That's really, we have to do it together. That's the only way we're gonna trust each other. Because that's what it needs to be about. You know, to trust each other to do not only the right thing from you to me, but from me to you. You know, it's a mutual thing. All right. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoy this beautiful day. Take care.